go. Hello, everybody. Go for it. Someone take it away. Will is still called Tycho apparently at the moment. Yeah, I've done very good. I'll fix that now. One of you introduce us.
There you go.
Will, do your best Tycho impression.
I don't know what, like the Blood Angels Tycho or actual Tycho from last week. Blood Angels like that's what a vampire does apparently. That's terrible.
It's fixed. I fixed it.
There we go. I'll do it. Go on. Welcome back to another episode of Discussing the Resilient podcast. I've got the three of us in attendance. Myself, Will, Aiden, and Death Guard Dave. Yeah, another exciting week of meta results for Death Guard. It's definitely no longer D for Death Guard tier.
No.
Let's put it that way.
No.
S for smelly tier, maybe. I don't know. It's certainly we've certainly gone full circle. But before we jump into anything, how are you guys doing? Dave, how are you? How are you keeping, mate?
Yeah, I'm all good. Thank you very much. Had the culmination to the Club Crusade on Friday night, which was fun. So you had my final 3K game versus Abnett. Unfortunately, the guy who ran the tournament put into the rules that the Chaos team, because it was if you won a round, it was Chaos versus Imperials, and if you won a round, you got a perk for the final go. Now, if I were to tell both of you that one of the perks was that Chaos could deep strike a unit turn one, how would you feel for my opponent playing me with 3,000 points of Tallyband?
Uh-oh.
Yeah, so basically, turn one, I put 12 Nurglings down in a row, cutting the entire board in half, and then I got first turn, moved, advanced them, put Poxwalkers within 7 of them, dropped 6 Death Shrouds 6 inches away, and there was some space behind his central ruin, and the Death Shroud went straight through the wall, picked up an entire unit of Cataphrons, and then consolidated back through the wall onto the point to be out of line of sight of everything. And then they proceeded to stay there the rest of the game, whilst the Demon Prince dropped 2 Great Unclean Ones within 6 because he had Beckoning Blight down on them as well, and that kind of was that. So there was a really fun bit though where there was an orbital. The guy who ran it bought out an orbital strike template, about 12 inches across, and basically said, right, the Imperials can call it in first, and so at the end, we got to like turn 4, and I just said to him, the game was over, and I was like, look, do you want to call in the strike? And he was like, yeah. So he put it down over quite a bit of my stuff on the left flank, rolled the scatter dice. It was a direct hit, and everything took D6 plus 6 mortal wounds, and he rolled 10 mortal wounds 4 times in a row, which killed both the drones, the Rhino, some Plague Marines, some Poxwalkers. It was really funny, but it was a great campaign, really well run. But and the Porphyrion once again, star of the show, called out yet another Imperial Knight from distance, took no damage, so he's untouched in pretty much all the games now, and I think he's clocking 600 points of damage in about 10 games.
Jesus
Christ. So pretty good. Anyway, that was a nice fun end to that.
And how are you, Aiden? Have you been? Well, obviously we were at a tournament the weekend. Weren't we on opposite teams?
Yeah.
How have you been? How have you been keeping?
I'm devastated. How the fuck did you beat me? No, I'm good.
We didn't beat each other, by the way. We didn't play each other. Our team beat Aiden's team. So that's what we're talking about.
Yeah. No, honestly,
we were robbed from second, by the way. We realised afterwards that the tiebreakers were miscalculated. We actually won by 2 points. So yeah, those Scousers. I was joking that the Scousers they robbed our award, but it turns out they actually did.
No, I'm good. It was good fun to go to the team event on the weekend. Obviously, a little tired after it, but yeah, not too bad. Yeah, holding up, having fun with Death Guard still, and I'm weirdly painting Age of Sigmar at the moment, but I have, as soon as I've finished this Zeppelin for my spirit, I know. So as soon as I finish with Zeppelin for my spearhead, I've got 2 Great Unclean Ones to paint. Because I'm going to go down the Tallyband rabbit hole because it looks really, really fun.
It's really fun.
It is really fun. Hey, you got Heath Wargaming in the chat saying he can't wait for round 2. Let's do it.
Nice.
No, we're gonna. So when we say recap on this one, it's not going to be the usual game for game recap because all 3 of us are here. We're going to quickly sort of sum up our events, some key moments and things like that. And I might do an event recap later on in the week. We'll see. They do take a lot of time to prepare, and I'm trying to get some other videos out at the moment. So,
nice.
Hey,
I smell the new boy.
Nice. Look at that.
So I've now got 2 Great Unclean Ones and Rotius.
Excellent.
Sorry.
No, it's cool. It's cool. But yeah, all
guys
good.
are catching with your demons, aren't you? I've had 2 great includes that I guess for ages. And I'm thinking about buying a 3rd great
And special.
Well, technically, I have got 3, but like it's not quite as good as that.
You know
one,
what?
so.
I might just stick one of these on a base and call that a great.
I'd let that go. I'd let you play that.
I'd let you have it. Yeah.
Fucking that one. Just pushing a cuddly toy around the box.
But yeah, it's good to see everyone in the chat as well. Thank you all for being here. Already 89 viewers. Thank you so much. And
Hello,
special
everyone.
shout out to Mr. Terrica or Mrs. Terrica. I don't know what you are. Thank you for becoming a Death Shroud. Really appreciate the support. Again, for those who are watching, please feel free to leave a like and a subscribe on the stream. It really helps us out and grows the channel. And if you really want to support us, you can consider becoming a Plague Marine or a Blight Lord or a Death Shroud. All of them get access to our Discord. You can do this by hitting the join button below. Blight Lords get access to stuff like their list reviews, which I'm going to do one. I'm doing one of those either Thursday. I'm doing Thursday Plague Surgery. I'm probably going to do a Sunday Plague Surgery because obviously I just missed the Sunday one because we're at an event. So all that kind of good stuff, and you get access to just join an awesome Discord and awesome community, and it helps support the channel. So thank you so much. Right. So where should we start this? Should we talk about our teams event, Will?
Yeah, let's do it if you want. We can recap it quickly. I mean, like I say, my performance wasn't that exciting, to be honest. It was just, just get points. Like some of the games that we played, I didn't necessarily play to try and win it like we would in singles. Played much more cautious. My round 1, for example, I think like I played it even in teams. I should have maybe played that one better. But yeah, seriously. So I don't know. Do you want to go first, Aiden, or shall I do it? Try and run it.
Do you also want to do a real 1 minute? What is a teams event for anyone who maybe is newer player, newer to the channel, just to quickly of what the difference is?
Yeah. So basically, when it comes to teams event, it's a different way of playing competitive 40k. Rather than going into an event with your one list and then you just go and play your games as you usually would, you go with a team of normally it's either 5 or 8 people. This was a 5 people teams event. And you all bring a list. You all have to play different armies. You can't even share allies normally. So if I was to take demons with Tallyband, we wouldn't allow a Chaos Demon player on the team as well. And then, say me and Will are on different teams. We've both got our 4 teammates. We meet each other at a table after a pairing. And then we will basically do what's called a pairing process, where we will give each other one of our team's lists. And then they will offer 2 back. And you kind of do this back and forth where you decide who's fighting who. And in the end, you'll have 5 1 versus 1 games. It's not a big 5v5 game. It's 5 1v1 games. But the main difference from singles is your win and your loss does matter, but not as like in singles. The actual thing that matters is how badly each player wins and loses by. Because the more point differential in your wins and losses, the more points you actually get for your team. And then overall, at the end, that's what's going to decide what wins. So, for example, if me and Will played and me and Will both got a 10-10, but then one of our other teammates got 20 points and then Will's team got 0, that's going to make a big impact on the score.
So the thing to add in there, it's out of 20, by the way, as well. So the most you can score. So if you absolutely blow your opponent out 100 points to 0 on the battle point score, that's a 20-0. So the biggest win you can get is a 20-0. The smallest win you can get is an 11-9, and then as Aiden said, a 10-10 is a draw. And in the to win, so each point is basically 5 points, battle points different. So to be more than a draw, you have to win your game by at least 6 battle points. And then the round, you add all the differential points together, all the out of 20 scores, and then whichever team has the most points wins, but it's a draw if you haven't scored on the differential more than 5 points more than you or the team. So, like, our team didn't actually win as many games as Aiden's, but our team had better results. So our losses, we all played for small losses, and one person always played for a big win. So for example, one round I lost by a point. Someone else on the team lost by 2 points. Someone else on our team won by, I think, 3 points. Someone else lost by 6. But then we had a 20-0. And that 20-0, all those points basically just pushed us to the win because all our small losses didn't matter. So that's kind of how teams work. So it's losing with style is an important part of teams. Basically, that's how we'll call it.
And it's good because it means if you are losing, there's still a reason to keep playing and trying to
Reason
get
to
every
play,
point you can, which is really cool. So me and Will went on different teams. So Will went with Team Stonehammer, who ended up finishing in third place, robbed from second.
I know, yeah.
Congratulations, Mr. Will. I went with Manchester Mercs, and we finished in fourth place, so just one behind Will.
Well done.
Now, we both obviously took Death Guard, obviously. We took quite different lists, though, didn't we, Will? Do you want to quickly recap what you took, Ria?
Yeah, I'm on more time. So this is another part of teams. So because you put like defenders and attackers down, you try and set up traps. So like, for example, we had Crusher Stampede, the Tyranids monster list on ours. So we deliberately went Mortarian's Hammer on our list. So we had like Monster Mash. So if there was ever an opportunity where someone didn't have enough anti-tank to deal with it, or maybe some teams don't have enough anti-tank to deal with both lists, so someone's going to get a favourable pairing. So I had Mortarian's Hammer, 2 Defilers, 3 Bloat Drones with Heavy Blight Launchers, 2 Bloat Drones with the Flesh Mowers, 2 Tallymen, which I have to say, the more I played 2 Tallymen, it's like, cannot recommend it enough. 3 squads of 10 Poxwalkers, 2 Mephitic Blight Haulers, a 6-man squad of Death Shroud with a Lord of Contagion, 3-man with a Lord of Virulence, and then a Lord of Virulence with the enhancement to make him lone up. I don't think there was anything else. I don't think I've missed anything in that. But yeah, it went well. You know, I was a bit unlucky against my Chaos Knights player. There was a couple of lucky moments where I didn't have enough OC, and like Knights lived on like 1 or 2 wounds in sort of like dice rolls that maybe should or shouldn't happen. I don't know. But then, like, obviously, because I just didn't have the OC, that 8 OC flip points I thought I was going to score. But I still, because I had bottom of turn, it's still only a 1-point loss. We still won the round as a team. And I think the first round to Tau, to be fair, my opponent just completely got in my head. To be fair, not in a bad way, in the correct way. Like, he just sort of, every time I put a model, I'm like, sure you want to put that there? I mean, don't think anything man could kill anything in you. I mean, I could definitely get a line. I'm very fast, and I was like, oh shit, yeah. Deployed really cagily, like, because in my head I'm used to sort of playing Death Guard lists that are quite. You know, slow. But I keep forgetting, I've said this in the chat, I'm always surprised at how much damage this list. I should have just said, yeah, mate, okay, but like anything in my arm, we can pick up anything in your arm. If we both just deploy on the line and Rot will go first, if we go first, picks up half the other person's army just in the shooting phase. So yeah, so I shouldn't have been this cagey, because he then went second on Purge the Foam.
Okay.
And then was able to sort of like, I was always in the game. Like, I got points out of it, don't get me wrong. But I think, because we had one of our team members, something happened, he had to miss the first game, so we were already up against it. I should have gone, we were probably losing the round. I should have just deployed everything on the line, or like more aggressively at least, and kind of just played more aggressively, like it was a singles game.
Nice.
But yeah, apart from that, I won most. I didn't finish one of the games in the weirdest circumstances ever, because it was actually the Death Guard David played. Do you remember when you played 2?
Yeah, the Abnett player.
The one that he was talking that he played you, and he was basically like using all the tactics that you told about his army. He said his army isn't there to kill me, it's just there to like score points and block me off stuff. And he played it really well, but someone else had set the terrain up, and it was kind of summarised at the start of like my turn 2. So I was like, right, so I've scored this then. And he's like, you can't score that. And I was like, why can't I score that? He's like, you can't hold that behind the wall. I was like, you've got like 3 guys on it behind your wall. It's like an inch behind the terrain piece. And you're just like, oh shit, it is, yeah. So then we're like, right, okay, so what we're going to do? So in the end, we corrected everything. So he went back to his movement phase, put it on. Then I was like, okay, if you're going to, I got my shooting phase, so I'll shoot that. And then we all did that. So basically had an extra half hour. Basically had to like replay turn 2 replay turn 1 twice. So we didn't get the end of the game, and then they did a hard dice down. So at that point, I was 1 point behind on the points, so it was a draw on the thing. But I had bottom of turn to get the bottom turn points dump, and I had a lot more of my army left than he did. He still had stuff to kill me, don't get me wrong, but I think the way it was with the bottom turn points, it would have been a small win to me.
Yep.
As it was a draw though. But it was never going to be a blowout. Do you know what I mean? And he still had some killing power, but I think it would probably have been a 13-7 is what I reckon, roughly. But, you know, there's dice still to be rolled. Because it was a hard dice down, it only matters because one more point would have definitively, because it was tiebreakers. Yeah, because we drew on 2 tiebreakers. It was the 3rd tiebreaker that put us into 3rd place. But they did the first tiebreaker wrong. We worked out when we got home. We added up again manually, and we actually had 2 more points. Just no one noticed. But yeah, but that was. I mean, that, in a nutshell, that's kind of my event really.
What was your finishing record for yourself personally? Now, bear in mind, Will said he was playing like the more defensive, because when you make lists for teams, you kind of get given a role by the team, so you've got to play sort of defensive and just go for small wins or getting draws or small losses, and then you have your people that take lists that really want to get the good pair and just smash someone to 20-0. So go on, what did you get, Will?
If we were playing it in a singles format where it's just wins, it would have been 3-2. If we're playing it in the teams format, it was like 3 draw loss. But like I say, I didn't get to finish from the gates. They did the hard dice down. It was a literal. One of their players on their team was so salty about it as well, and I didn't realise like at home why, because he was the table nearest to Jason. There was another one. Jason literally walked up to them to start the starting turn 5. Apparently Jason was like, "No, what's your score? Tell me it now." And then he went round, wherever I was at the other end of the table because of where the hall was. So I was up when the last bit he came. So other guys in the middle was so angry that we were still playing. He was like, "Dice down, you should be dice down." And I was like, why is he being like this? And then I finally got home because he'd literally had the hard dice down. He was like, "Well, you should be hard dice down as well." Which makes complete sense. Because at the time I was like, why is this guy so bothered? But yeah, like I got it when I found out why. But everyone was lovely. Great teams. No, nothing at all to complain about. Great event as well, and yeah, like it was really good. But what about you, Aiden? How did it go for you?
Yeah, let's hear how your side was.
Well, I'll just say, because I took quite a different list. Was there any, just very quick before we come to me? Was there any units in your list, Will, that you either felt like overperformed or underperformed? Were you like anything you're super happy with? You mentioned the Tallyband.
Oh, the Tallyband. So I have to say this. I mean, we obviously can't because we're trying to get Games Workshop affiliated, so we won't talk about the leaks that you can see on Reddit and other places. But if CP changes go the way that they may or may not, double Tallyband is a thing. It's so good. You just put one left, one right. They do all your secondaries that don't rely you standing on an objective. Do nothing. And I think there was only like one round where between the 2 rolls I didn't get a CP. Like they were so good pushing out a screen. Like for 80 points, I don't see a reason why you wouldn't put them in every list. And then I think the thing that I thought I missed, mainly because I just lacked OC at times. There was times and it was like I could have just done with a thing to put here.
What's coming?
Yeah, I think I need a carnivore back. I'm gonna try dropping a bloke drone and a squad of poxwalkers for carnivore. Also, the other thing that I was worried about was really like T12, like 1 turn and stuff. Like we were really worried about putting me into like lists with like 3 big knights because we weren't sure. Obviously, the strength 10 chip adds up and the flat 3 damage, but we didn't feel it was like safe. But I think a carnivore would have fixed 2 problems basically, and because it's more Tyrant's Hammer, I'm just picking things to be in Contagion. I don't need as many Contagion units. I want to try it, but honestly, the list was it felt really good. It had everything.
Yeah, nice.
2 Lord of Virulences was really good as well, because I know Aiden came up and said to me, and I know a few people said the bloke drones with blight launches are really swingy. I played one game where I didn't attach them because I didn't think I needed them, and I just played them, so I lost them both in the game. I won the games. It didn't really actually it was a class of draw on the round actually. It was in the Death Guard mirror, and I noticed how much the damage output of the army just dropped as soon as I lost them. Whereas like I say, like it was the same in the Tau game. I shot 1 and like he was really underwhelmed, and then like the last term we talked about kills, and I lined 3 up with the rerolls, and the unit was in Contagion, which before it was just like I shot 2 of them and I think only just killed some it. Then like rolled like 1 with the rerolls and all the buffs, and it just evaporated. And he was like, "Shit!" He was like, "Why did you do that soon?" I was like, "Mate, I don't know. I deployed really occasionally." Like, I'm sort of, yeah. So it was, yeah. There was the list was good, like I said. Even then, the carnivore is an experiment because I think I might just want a brick of OC. Because like I said, the Chaos Knights game, I had the 10 OC from the Poxwalkers, but he knew that and he just chipped them all down to like at least seven on a unit, basically, really smartly. And then I couldn't just out OC his Knights. I'd always have a something else. But anyway, not to hog the time. So what about you then, Aiden?
So I kind of read the room a bit wrong. I won't lie. It turns out there was a lot of tanks at this event, wasn't there, Will? Holy shit! There was so many vehicles. Like 90% of the lists were just vehicle spam, and my dumbass showed up with a 30 Plague Marine spam. So I had 30 Plague Marines. I had one big squad of 10 with all the bells and whistles. I was also playing Virulent Vectorium. I had 4 squads of 5 Plague Marines. I had 2 Rhinos. I had 3 heavy blight launch drones. Lord of Contagion. Malignant Plague Caster. 2 Biology Putrefiers. Foul Blight Spawn. The Demon Prince with the Feel No Pain. And then some Poxwalkers to sort of like sprinkle around. And 2 squads of Death Shroud. And okay, so the weird thing is it worked well. But my god, I felt my brain wrinkling as I was playing it. I had to play so much harder than if I was just like herder, free pig, bus crawler, and just shot across the map with them. But it did work really well. My personal record was 4 wins, 1 draw.
Nice.
Which I'll take for the thing. I had to play against Dark Eldar, Imperial Knights. Then it was brain, please work. I had Tyranids, I had Gene Stealer Cults, and then there was something. Emperor's Children, that was it, which was the draw.
Good mix.
Which we kind of already knew was the draw because I played against Sam with his Emperor's Children.
Yeah.
And RTT, and that kind of came out to a draw. So, you kind of like. You got to play on a knife edge with the Plague Marines, but the OC did, like, especially late game when things had started dying, the OC really kind of started coming into play there. And the 10-man brick, when it came out, still the funniest fucking thing ever. Like, I had it drive out and just, like, shoot, like, 6 zone throps and a Eurothrope to death just instantly. It's like, bye, get out of here.
Amazing.
And the Lone Op as well, and the Demon Prince, really nice. Sitting at that middle point with that 5 Feel No Pain caused a lot of people to make mistakes, but it was definitely, like, more complex to play because again the Marines die quite easily. A bit of speed issues as well. The boards as well. Some of the Lord of War boards. There's a lot.
Was it custom terrain or was it WTC or GW?
There was 2 GW and 3 like hybrid UKTC. But
the hybrid boards, I'm not like I don't want to like sort of cost too much in, but I do think he needs to look at some of those maps and sort of like maybe sit down with some like Andy
between them. He just needs to pull them a bit closer because
some of them closer, some of them further apart. Like he needs to sit down with someone like Andy QC because I know he trusts QC, which is why I've referenced him particularly. He needs to sit down with someone like him and I think just sort of like move things left and right because he needs to sit down with someone who's a bit. He's competitive minded and plays at the high end of the game. Aiden would be a good person to do it with as well, and just kind of like have a little conversation because things just need to move an inch here, 2 inches there. Like I see why he's done some of them the way they are, but there's just a few of them that just don't quite function the way that I think he intends them to.
So like the problem I had is my list has got like this Rhino with like 2 squads of barebone Marines that just want to flip an objective every turn. But when the closest staging point to my opponent's natural objective is 20 inches away, I can't do that.
No, it doesn't work.
Is this round 1 by any chance?
No, that was I dodged round 1. I got I told my team I need GW terrain. Thankfully, I got it.
Yeah,
but,
that was what I had.
It's supposed to have unbalanced boards, Don, but not 2/3 of them be literally like just shooting galleries. Like, I am used to there being a heavy, a light, and then 3 medium. That's fine, but you don't have like you wouldn't ever go to an event and have 3 light, 2 heavy, and that's it. Like it just doesn't really work that way. So it was just a bit odd trying to find staging points. But when I got like the GW terrains, which are obviously just made to be kind of balanced, I was totally fine on them. And you can make Lord of War ones work. My draw was on Lords of War one. Just because the big freaking bit in the middle just give Emperor's Children so much staging, and they're obviously a lot faster than I am. Yes. And there's a couple of things as well. Made a few mistakes in that game. Learned quite a lot from it though, which was quite nice. But no, it was good. The Plague Marines, like even the 5-mans with the full like rerolls to hit and wound, were like way up trading what they could do. Like you could walk out, get a free grenade off from the Demon Prince, and then 4 rerolls to hit and wound, and kill like a war dog or something. It was like, okay, that's pretty cool. Or kill like an armor, which is really nice to see. So we like that. Yes, Dave. But yeah, it was a cool list to try. I do kind of regret taking it a bit because it found a bit hard to push, and I wish it had a bit more. I probably should have just took more Tyrion's Hammer, if I'm being honest with you, especially on those boards. When it comes to underperforming units. Yeah, the HBL drones. I didn't have a lot of virulence at all, and man, those things suck.
Oh,
A lot of
mate,
virulence.
yeah.
Um,
I mean, let's.
See why that would
I'm
be a
gonna.
pain.
So let's, because obviously linking. We'll finish about the event. They, for 100 points, they're still broken. By the way, because you have to look at 100 points. You have to remember like how alive is supposed to be. Without the Lord of Virulence, they are still broken for 100 points. But with the Lord of Virulence, they absolutely sing. Like that's what I was giving like the tower example game. I shot them without the rerolls, shot them with the rerolls, and it's like just even just converting 1 or 2 more shots when it's flat 3 damage, it just adds up so much. So yeah, like I know what you're saying though, like because I did shoot without the virulence, and they are swinging.
Yeah,
but for
like,
100 points,
turn,
they're still like way.
But that's the annoying thing, because there was that turn where you roll the 6 in the shots and they hit quite well, and you wound on 2s against like elite infantry, and they decimate that. And I'm like, okay, I can see the potential of what makes him so good, but in that list, I don't think it was the place for it. Now, I would say to chat as well, if you wanted to watch the game, I did play on stream on round 2. The stream, however, has been taken down, hasn't it? The stream's been taken down, hasn't it? The stream game. Yes, the stream has been taken down. Won't get into that one.
Put it back up.
But yeah, I wouldn't say they're broken, but they're better when you put the points into it, which is kind of true for anything. But I don't like the unreliability of them without the fellow for the rerolls, because I had so many turns where I shot 2 of them at a rhino that was in contagion and did 3 damage to it, and I was just like, I was just like, God damn it.
They're like BBCs without the reroll. They average out across the 3, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
But then you kind of, whereas, with the Lord of Virulence, 1 might just pop off and do all the work that you need, and the other 2 can kind of go off and chip at something else or try and get lucky. Whereas I imagine with the 3, you've got to line them all up and expect that all 3 are just shooting that one thing. So yeah, I can see why people are frustrated with them without the Lord of Virulence backing them up.
Yeah, but it was good, and the other thing for me as well. Like I said, my challenge this year is not to care about rank 1 as much. It's just to take every detachment to like big events or small events and either win an RTT or go 4-1. And I went to teams, which is mainly teams, but I was getting not the greatest pairings because I was a blunt player. That's what my job was to be. And I got 4 wins and a draw. So like I'm ticking Virulent Vectorium off. Like this is probably the last time I'm taking Virulent Vectorium to I won't be taking it to Leeds, put it that way. I think I'm going to change to something else so people in the chat can let me know what they want to see take Leeds, because I have now won an RTT and gone for 4 wins, 1 draw at a large event with it. So Virulent Vectorium, tick, off you go. Sweet, happy with that.
So before we move on then, why did you move away from the Virulent? Because the Virulent Vectorium, I think Virulent Vectorium, of all the detachments, seems to be the most figured out, in the sense of lists already look like very similar, less 200-300 points for the most part. And you look at the GT winning lists, and I know you were one of the original ones because you put it on your video with the 6 Death Shroud, the 3 Death Shroud, the 10 Plague Marines. Like that seems to be a very common archetype for Virulent Vectorium. What was it that made you change from that to the? Was it specifically for the event, or did you have an idea in your mind? Because I didn't realise you weren't just running what you'd won the RTT with.
So if I was to give you like an actual genuine answer, because I wanted to be a special snowflake, and I wanted to just take something weird and different, and I saw this list, Gabriel Nixon took, and I was like, that looks really cool, looks really fun to play. I love Plague Marines, I love toolboxy lists, so I was like, I'm going to give it a whirl. So I did, and it was good fun. Probably should have just took the original list. I think it might have done better on the kind of boards and the matchups that we had. But at the same time, when we put it to the team, and this is the one thing I did want to touch on, I think that our team, and this is no offense to Stonehammer at all, or your team will, but like we probably, if you was to look at it on paper, have stronger players individually. But I think your guys' overall team strategy and lists proves that that's far more important than like someone's play skill, because your list together had like synergy. If you get what I mean, like you said before, like you went for the skew and like the monsters in your vehicles to trap people. We just kind of brought 5 lists because we couldn't really understand what everyone was kind of doing playing, and I think that's what cost us, because we just had 5 lists that we never had a trap for someone. Like you said there, Will, you could catch someone out and go, there's the person that doesn't have good anti-tank. Here's my list or the Nids Crusher Stampede. Pick your poison. You've got to take one of them. We didn't have that. So even though it worked, my list, and like I was happy with it, I think it kind of goes to show like that your guys' approach to teams was probably a bit stronger in terms of like what you took.
I think there's definitely some truth in that. Like I said, I mean, you know, your team is kind of like taking the best players from a mix of teams and kind of putting together to be the Mercs. I would also say the Stonehammer's leveled up.
Oh, you have, yeah, massively. That's what I mean. I didn't mean it in like an offensive way, but
no. I mean, like I say, like
we've
had a few people say it was recently like, oh, you've got lucky. It's like, no, we've just like
really
a few of the lads have just like, I mean,
I've gotten better.
Well, I put it this way. So less than a year ago, Alex, who was our Crusher Stampede player, we had a long conversation in the car park after the last teams event where we basically looked into third place in 8-man, and he was like, he wanted to get like a regular 3-2 player, and like we had a big conversation about like, because at the time me and Josh were like two of the more seasoned players, and Alex was like new at the club and it was his first team event, and like we had this big long conversation, and then like basically Alex now, if he doesn't get a 4-1, is like really upset about it. He's gone from like within less than a year to not just getting 3-2s to like being upset that he hasn't got a 4-1, and that's just tells how much he's done. And one of the things is a lot of the guys have all switched to another army, and then they've either come back to the original army. Like someone like Alex, for example, I'm sure what Mammy says, switched to Grey Knights from Tyranids. He wasn't half successful with Grey Knights he was with Nids. Came back to Nids and was just a much better player for it. And like that's why I was saying to you guys in the chat, I've had these Thousand Suns. I think I want to start alternating between Thousand Suns and Death Guard, just to like see the game from another angle, and just sort of like see what a different rule set is, and like, you know, just sort of see it. And then so when I come back to Death Guard, which is still the first love, hopefully become a more rounded and better player for it. Because I think I've just noticed, and that's Andy Mitten, you know, a few of the other guys in the team have all had that same journey recently. They've just gone with a different faction. And Andy Mitten admittedly just took to Genestealer cults, and it went from being a 3-2 Space Marines player to like a 4-1 pushing 5-0 like Genestealer cult player. And like I say, it's really interesting to see basically. So yeah, so Stonehammer's like, I've gone from being like one of like, we'll put our first 5, you know, yeah, Will's there. Like, I'm probably looking at A and B team. I'm probably in the B team now because some of the guys have just leveled up so much. So yeah, so you know, big props to them.
Yeah, well done, no problems. But a lot of people in the chat want me to take Tallyband. If I can get the Great and Clean ones and stuff painted in a month, I will take Tallyband. If I can't do that,
I'll get you a Great and Clean one.
I can bring stuff to Leeds for you.
Yeah, there is that, I suppose. I'm between Tallyband or Champions of Contagion at the moment. So it's probably one of them. We shall see. But yeah, so speaking of that, then let's talk about the state of Death Guard now.
Can we just jump to 2 things in chat?
Yeah, go on, Dave. Let Dave talk.
No. It's not like I want to talk. I just want to make sure.
Silence, Dave.
Just firstly, Don, thank you for your classic $7.77. Where nerf, need nerf, super chat, and Heath Wargaming became Death Shroud.
Hey, thank you very much.
I literally jumped straight from Grey Name to Death Shroud. So thank you very much, buddy. Really appreciate you joining and supporting. And 50k DPM, Chris, thank you very much. Member for 15 months. Who is a Death Shroud? Just get bongulated.
Nice, get bongulated.
Get bongulated. That was always wanted to catch up on a couple of super chats and membership for update and chat.
So go on then, Dave. I feel like you're a good person to launch into this next. So obviously, Death Guard win rate. Going, what are your hot takes on it? And you know, because obviously there's a Goonhammer sort of chart, isn't there, that's been doing the rounds today.
Yeah, I mean, I think I thought it'd be an interesting one for us to do, and I don't know if you got it to chuck on screen. But
if you can send me the link, I can.
I will find it in a second. Yeah, it was just basically we saw we dropped a graphic into the Discord, and it was basically from the Goonhammer page that was showing the win rate by detachments, and it was obviously interesting, and I think we all I remember sitting with Steve and Mike and the guys talking about what tier they thought. This was outside of the masterclass and stuff. They were like, "What tier do you think Death Guard are going to be in?" And we were like, "Yeah, it should be good A." And then we're like, "Oh, some of it could potentially be an S when people start to figure it out." I mean, Tallyband, which was one of the second smallest or maybe the smallest of the new detachments, I think sitting on a 63% win rate, which is pretty strong.
I just want to say,
now.
every single other YouTube channel said Tallyband was unplayable bullshit.
Yeah, I know. Tell me about it, right?
Oh, that's awkward.
Very awkward. So I think not many people have drifted to it, but those that have like, and I can tell you, having played it, and I played it for the first time at that event. If that had been a 2,000 point list, and I hadn't have had that shenanigans about the Chaos being able to deep strike in first, that list still would have been an absolute nightmare. With the ability to take a Demon Prince, then drop 2 great and clean ones next to you, awesome. Or just slam 12 Nurglings across the board, and then 1 CP, persistent pest, pick them back up again. Oh look, they're back in again, turn 2, there's another 6 on the board. Maybe
we need to have a challenge at Leeds. Maybe we all need to take the identical Taliban list, and then at the end see who does the best with it.
I am definitely taking Death.
Me and Dave can, I'd be a good laugh to do that. I'm sure I can collect some great unclean ones. I know loads of people who've got them at Elements, so yeah, maybe that's something we can revisit. But sorry, Dave,
Deathwat's chosen pilled at the moment.
I'm taking Deathwat's chosen. Like, I don't care what either of you take. That's why. I'll see if I can find this. If not, I'll rip it off the website and drop it over to you. But yeah, they were all really strong kind of numbers, and so it was I guess it was a combination of you. What have you guys just seen at your event? Like, you tanks everywhere, so like vehicles everywhere, and then combine that with, I know that was a teams event, but
it's also for the terrain at this one, I would say. I think for WTC terrain, the list Aiden took would have functioned a lot better.
Did you know though did everyone going to that event know the terrain really, really well and long enough out?
The better teams definitely did. There was 2 or 3 teams, definitely 2.
You're making me sound real stupid now.
There's definitely we looked at the terrain before we went, and there was definitely a couple of teams with Team England players on, and I'm sure they would have, like the team who won it, I've no doubt that they'd studied the terrain and stuff like that. So I think the teams, but then not every team took Death Guard. Only one of the teams a Team England player took Death Guard. It was a Team England player played, and he took more Tyrant's Hammer. So I think that's a good team's build. Depending on the terrain is what I'm getting at. Like, it's good for open boards and it comps well with other like armor skew lists. But I notice like some other sort of podcasts are sort of quite hyped on like plague mean spam lists on like WTC terrain when there's loads of like staging points and things like that. So I do think it's very terrain dependent, because like I say, when we're talking about the wins, people who've actually gone. Like the winning GTs, for example, I don't think more Tyrant Hammer's won a GT yet, has it? I think it's just had a lot of 4-1s, whereas I think it's all Virulent Vectorium and Champions of Contagion that are actually like taking things out, like going 5-0. I mean, with the exception of obviously the Poxwalker list that we had on week 1, but I think that was maybe a bit of a sort of like first week sort of thing. I get unless Eddie's still been doing well, that I don't know. Oh yes, have you got the graphic up, have you?
Yeah, the detachment. So I've just dropped into the chat. Aiden's just going to pull them up. There's last week's GT results by faction win rate, and then there's the detachment win rate for Death Guard. They're both in the.
They're on the screen now for everyone. Okay, nice. So let's go from the top then. Looks like, I mean, let's talk about popularity obviously first. Let's have a look how many games we've recorded. Now this is GT
exactly.
level
I think there's a lot to talk about in this list, in this graphic.
Yeah. So now remember, Flyblown Host is going to be including all the games pre-codex, so we can't really get accurate data for Flyblown Host, and obviously Play Company is just no longer relevant now. So we can
let's leave those two out.
We can do that. So coming in first place on popularity is by a country mile, tripling its next. Is it actually tripling? Yeah, it's tripling. Not tripling. Over doubling though, and like 2.5ing over its next one is Virulent Vectorium. Not surprising at all.
It's if two things. Firstly, was if you take out if it's just the current attachment. So if we eliminate the index bits there and the Play Company one, it's still a 56.3% win rate mixed. But I mean, Will, I think you kind of asked this question earlier to Aiden. Is VV is basically index, right? So it's the easiest thing for the existing player base to jump to. So I think that sums up quite obviously why that's there, and it is very powerful. I also have a hot take that I think is linked to this. I think
Champions of Contagion, because we're so used to cheap units, it just feels weird, right, in lists. Like,
Yes.
anyone who's been playing there for a while, like, you just feel like you've got nothing there. But I just think it hasn't quite computed to the people who've been playing it for a while how that little, the stuff with the strats available is so much more powerful. Like, I kind of want to sort of put it on the table, because I think it's the one with the highest ceiling in terms of, like, player skill. I think there's a lot more, and it's still quite point and click is the reality. I think Virulent Vectorium, Champions of Contagion, Mortar and Hammer, they're a lot less brain power intensive than like some of the other, say, like Eldari and, you know, like Thousand Suns might end up the same way, where you maybe have to jump through more hoops to get the power out of them. Like, I think Death Guard at the moment, part of the problem is it's just kind of like, well, I deep strike 6 inches, so I've made the charge, and, you know, more times I just pick these 2 units, and, you know, now you're in Contagion. I think there's just a bit of a point and click element with Death Guard. Partly linked to the points as well. But anyway, so I've gone off on a complete tangent. I'm kind of blowing the lead with this.
That's okay.
So yeah, sorry.
No, I think we got a point. I think Virulent Vectorium just gives every player just like a really solid base. You've got nice shooting output. You've got some durability buffs. You've got some tricks to pull, and it doesn't also demand you take anything specific. It's not like Deathlord's Chosen where it's asking for Terminators or Demons in Tallyband. It's just, or even like Champions, which forces like attached characters a lot of the time. It's just, you can take whatever you want in this attachment, and it'll have something to make them better. You could take PBCs in this, and you can still reroll shots. Like, it still makes them better. Like, I'm not saying it's the best in there. You probably still want more Tyrant's Hammer, but you really can just take whatever you like want in there. Is that an updated one there, Mr.
Yeah, just grab that graphic. I've just changed it. So this is just covering May. This is just covering May.
So there we go.
This is May. This is May till May to current date.
So yeah, 62% win rate for Virulent Vectorium is really like unsurprising. Like, it's also going to be also because there's so many players. There's also like obviously going to be a potentially higher chance of players that are lesser skilled playing as well as higher skilled. So the reality is that could also be higher. That's why we have to look at stuff like T-Whip, not just win percentage. Win percentage can be misleading. You can have a faction that wins 60% of games and never wins an event ever because it's just a mid-table bully. But I do think that Virulent Vectorium just gives everyone that. It's where everyone starts. Everyone starts on VV. It's one of our most popular detachment review videos, I think, for that reason. It's just, hey, I've just got. There's a lot of people that are just getting into Death Guard as well, and I think that's very appealing to play VV. And also, sticky objectives when you've played with it is very hard to sort of give up as well. Honestly,
it's a hard thing to remember. Like I had it playing the early games of this, and was like, got to put something back there, or move something, and then was like, actually, so I need to put that back.
Yeah. So, as someone said in chat, when it comes to Champions of Contagion, you really need to know how to handle your cock, because
you do.
Because COC is got a lot of expensive bricks, and there's a lot of tricks it can do, a lot of CP stuff, and it's a lot of character dependent. Like, you want to try and get your final ingredients set up, you want to make sure you've got CP for fight first, your full hit and wound rerolls cost 2 CP, and you've already got overwounded them. There's a lot of weird things like that, but I do think COC is probably just as powerful as Virulent Vectorium, but I think the capacity for someone to cock it up, lol, is actually higher than like in VV. I think the potential for you to make a misplay or mess up Champions of Contagion is what's kind of making its popularity less than Virulent Vectorium, where you can just get the same results with less like bad scenarios. But I do think in the right hands, COC could actually potentially be stronger than Virulent Vectorium in the right hands.
Yeah, I agree with that.
But I'm not surprised to see it's still at a 53.9% win rate. Now, the weirdest one here, let's obviously talk about the one in the room, is the Tallyband with 72 games, so not a massive sample size, obviously, but it's 66.67% win rate.
Yeah, that's very, very strong, and it's a long way clear of everything else.
I partly think though that's because I think some of the lesser detachments, it's maybe higher caliber of players picking them up.
Oh yeah, I think so as well.
One, for example, it's being played by higher skill players. I think in the sense of like the people who are looking at that. Like if someone, unless someone's just love zombies, but I think most people who play horde armies and look for that style of grindy play, it's just a higher caliber of player normally. Like, and there's probably a lot of people picking up these like Tallyband summoners and the Poxwalker ones who maybe on teams, maybe on good teams, for example, and then taking the singles to get the reps in. So that's my opinion on some of these. I think it's kind of like people do. Also, it's a bit more niche, so people maybe catching opponents out in this sort of early stage as well. There's maybe
still a
things
case
like
of,
that
I
in
think
there
people
as
don't
well.
know. Yeah, I think it's still a case of people not knowing how this stuff works.
Yeah,
And definitely getting caught out with it at the moment. Give it in a few more weeks, it should settle down a bit. I think there's still definitely a state of. I think I said this in our stream. People are used to playing against Death Guard when it had what abilities it did have weren't really that impactful to the majority of the game, and some of those abilities were just kind of point blank a bit useless. And now suddenly everything does something different. And I think people are like, hang on a minute, that's doing what now? Like, where does that do that? How are you getting this? Like, you've got rerolls here, you've got like, abilities to do this. You can, but that's afflicted. And afflicted is letting you do what? And I think there's a period of adjustment that the game is going through from a very well written codex. So,
yeah. I mean, I was going on.
Go ahead.
I was just going to say about the codexes around the corner as well. I feel like our time as this sort of top meta dog is not going to last very long. At this point, Space Wolves are out in the world. I know they're not in the tournament scene. Thousand Suns.
Do you mean grey better Emperor's Children?
Sorry, do you mean Iron Hand Wolves? Like
Iron Hand Wolves, yeah. I think Thousand Suns. So I've got a hot take with Thousand Suns again. I think mid-table players, Thousand Suns versus Death Guard. I think Death Guard win 9 out of 10 times on like medium skill players. But I think when you get the top ends, so let's say Innes Wilson versus Vic Vijay, I think in that instance, I think Thousand Suns win 9 out of 10 times with those caliber of players, because I think Thousand Suns have still got movement tricks and things to delete us, which is back to the point and click thing of some of the Death Guard detachments. Some of them, they don't require the same amount of skill to get work out of them, if that makes sense. Like, there's a lot less sort of like fail points, like you move this unit in the wrong place and the game ends when it dies kind of thing. You don't have to like set things up, and that's my. But what I mean by that is I think Thousand Suns are going to get played, but I put it this way: in Element Games, where I do part-time hours, we have sold hardly any Thousand Suns stuff in the store. Right. But Thousand Suns won't be hardly all over tournaments; they'll just be all over the top tables. And I think them being on top tables will start nipping away at Death Guard's GT wins. Might not hurt the win rate, but I think it'll hurt the 5-0s a bit. Yeah. Because there'll be top players who are like kind of, able to just outplay people with as good a rule set.
I am interested to see how Bristol this weekend, because Thousands are legal, plays out. I want to see what the stats like that are going to like, because it's going to be our first super major in the UK with all of these new codexes out, so that'll be really cool to see how it plays out. And you are right, I think Thousands do still have potential. I think their build variety kind of still sucks. I think they've got a lot of bad shit.
Oh no, mate. No. If you
their
build
detachments,
really
are not good. Like, there's a lot of bad detachments.
Mate, no, the vehicle ones. The Zango one is busted.
The Zango one busted. I don't know if I like the vehicle one. I don't know. The vehicle one.
I don't think the vehicle one's as strong as our vehicle one, and I don't think it's as strong as their other two good ones. But I think it's a thing. For example,
like Rubric Eye Phalanx is not good. The Demon one is literally trash.
Oh, the Demon one's not good. Yeah.
The Grotmus one is bad.
But there's 6 in the book though.
No, so they got.
Have you only watched the Fireside? You missed the detachment off by mistake.
No.
Oh, right, okay, yeah.
So we got they got Grand Coven, which still seems fine. They've got Warp Meld Pact, which I think is going to be incredibly toxic, and it's probably going to end up having to get nerfed. Because Mutilate Vortex Beasts that have permanent -1 to wound, not against higher strength, just permanent -1 to be wounded, and the Zangors and all that is going to be, I think, a bit ridiculous, especially with all the invulns and whatnot. Then you have the vehicle one is like verdict's out, but if it works, it's going to work in a way like it's going to be like Vindicators and stuff again, which I'm so sick of Vindicators, and I just don't want to see them again. But yeah, the other three, I don't know. I'm not sold on them. I'm really not sold on them.
But I'll have to see. I mean, I think that's good. Sorry, Dave. Go.
No, I was going to say. Well, I think, like you said at the beginning, right? Like, this is certainly from the UK's perspective. Bristol will be the shakeout from Bristol will show us where some good players have gotten hold of, the whole range of the spectrum of players have gotten their hands on. First timers are getting hands on new codexes. Seasoned vets are getting their hands back onto codexes. We'll have T-Suns players coming back to the fold who maybe have stepped away for a bit because it hasn't been great for them. coming back with the new book. There's going to be a load of Death Guard there. I mean, the representation in the meta as a whole, I think, is still going to be high this week. Definitely, I think it was rocking at about 8% of like total representation, which is huge. We were at about 4%, so it doubled, which is absolutely massive.
Loads of people have a Death Guard army, don't they? Like, like how so many people just have a Death Guard army? Like, yeah.
So is there any? They're gone in.
I was going to say one thing I want to talk about because we need to sort of answer the question of is Death Guard broken? Is I got this weird feeling right at the moment that because we've seen the points we've seen the points for Thousand Suns, we've seen the points for Space Wolves, maybe not the updated points, but we've actually seen the points in the book. I think GW's biggest balancing problem at the moment isn't so much busted ass rules. Like we've got some strong rules, but I wouldn't really go out there and say any of them are busted. But their points are so wacky. Like, have you seen the points for the Wolfen in the book or the points for the Zangor Bowbirds? Like, for a 3
I'm trying to get my hands on 18 of those at the moment.
What the fuck's that? It's like it's like 50 points something for the first 3, and then the next 3 that you add to the score on like 20 points or something stupid.
80. So it's 80 points total, so it's an extra 30.
80 points for 12 birds that you can also give loan up, can get 4 rolls to hit with lethal hits, ignores cover, precision, strength 5, AP 2, 2 damage bolt, basically bows.
Yeah,
like,
it's a bit too cheap. It's 6, but six in the unit, but still too cheap for what
and
they
you got
are.
Wolfen for like 90 points for 5 guys that move fast with 3 wounds and a 4 up invulnerable. Like, I don't know. I feel like right now the rules aren't really the problem. We used to see like broken rules of stupid stuff. Like we saw today, Knights are getting sticky objectives with OC5 on them. That's interesting. So they stick an objective and it has OC5, so you can't just like free death shot on a log.
Oh, is that an official?
Yeah, it's a Warhammer
yeah.
article. So that's gonna be interesting. So I don't know. I feel like the rules themselves aren't that bad, but the points, and the reason I'm saying this is because I think that's the problem with us at the moment. I don't think our rules are particularly broken. I just think stuff's just too cheap. Like
I think the one rule that we have that could maybe need a look at is the 6-inch deep strike.
No. It's so. I am so sick.
It's manageable if you know what you're doing.
It's manageable, but it's so, like I think if they change it though, just make it a 7 instead of a 6-inch deep strike, and all of a sudden that fixes so many problems because 7 is so much more less reliable on 2 dice, and it's still super strong.
The unit. I think go on.
No, I think if they do anything with that. That's all they need to do with it. Like, I don't think they need to do any more. Just make it 7, not a 6.
So many if
it's even a problem.
Like, don't let them charge after it, so it's a useless rule then. Like, when we're
you wouldn't have the rule.
No, I mean, if you can't charge afterwards, I mean, it's not a useless rule, but it's a lot less usable. Like, because demons have got it as well.
The one thing I could see being nerfed is the rapid ingress on it.
Rapid ingress, yeah.
I can deal with that. Like, I don't think it needs it still. Like, I think you should just, again, push out screens or bring infiltrators and Space Marine players. You ready for this? I'm gonna enlighten you. Your infiltrators don't have to stand on your home objective. I know that's hard to understand. I really know that's a crazy idea, but your infiltrators can actually start the game infiltrating or up the board a little bit, or just hang around your really important units behind a wall. And then guess what? I can't 6-inch deep strike on your main important units, no matter if you're reflected or not. So there you go. The more you know, Space Marine players. But I mean, I think points wise, we are probably too cheap.
Definitely too cheap. So what do we think? I mean, one of the biggest offenders is the Defiler, but the Defiler's like one of them ones. You point it correctly, it instantly leaves the conversation. So it's like, I feel like GW, because some of these points things, like the Zangors, for example, they're definitely on units that weren't already in people's collections. I think James Mercer is probably looking at the Defiler sales thing. Oh, we're nearly at the quarter, right? Okay, put them back to 185. There we go, back on the shelf again, guys. So yeah, I think there's a little bit of that goes in there, if I'm to be honest. But I think Defiler for me is probably one of the most like undercosted units. Like it's just nuts at 165. I mean, what do we think? We said before, what do we think Death Shroud should be? Is there another one?
So I think Death Shroud could go up 10 points. I think 150 is fine for them. The weird thing is Death Shroud everyone is acting as if like Death Shroud are like the absolute unkillable. Like they're actually like they're actually pretty easy to kill. I'm not gonna lie, like they're not that hard to kill. Like 4 wounds is annoying, but when you catch them with the pants down, like they've lost the mass 2 wounded, you can. I've played mirror games in our TTS and I've had 5 Marines. And I spray a CP to give 4 rolls to hit and wound with 4 plasma guns and the blight launcher and the flamer, and they kill 2 Death Shroud. Like it's not that hard to like just drop a 3-man down to like near anything. Now the bit that makes him a bit silly is the Lord of Contagion, because that guy brings so much damage to the squad. Because the land's sustained, etc. like that. But I think the 3-man Death Shroud doesn't have to go up that much, and you put it to 150. Because the problem I have at the moment is I don't understand that the 3-man is just subjectively better than the 6-man, yet the 6-man is paying an extra 20-point tax. And I don't think the 3-man is substantially weaker, so I don't understand why he gets a discount. So I think like you put up 10, it's a nice easy start, because most lists are bringing at least
take
2
away
slots.
rapid ingress.
That's 20 points there. So you're gonna have to lose something there, even an enhancement unit. I think more stuff needs to change, but I don't think Death Shroud themselves, because I've ran a 3-man bare bones Death Shroud. I think it was good, but it wouldn't pick up an Armiger on its own. Like it does just walk in and kill it.
Oh, my 6-man didn't even pick up an Armiger with the Lord of Contagion.
Sorry, they're not crazy. They're not
that was where it went wrong. That was where it went wrong in that night's game.
I would say people have got to find there's a nice way. People need something to pick on, right? And be like, that's the problem. Like the difference is the whole book is better.
Yeah, I think
when you put 6-inch currently deep striking, rapid ingressing Death Shroud into that mix, which is with all the other good stuff in the book, the whole thing becomes bigger than the sum of its parts.
So
and it is.
Here's my one counter argument as well to people that want Death Shroud to go to 180. Does this game need another dead Terminator unit that never gets played?
No, it's 180 is too much. I think 155. I'm going to say 155. It's 5 points extra more, and then at that point you definitely keep the 6-inch deep strike thing. 155 and keeping the 6-inch deep strike as it is. Maybe you can't rapid ingress because I already don't play that. I already just play it as 9, mainly because it's too much hassle like with my opponent to start the game about it. So that's what we agreed on our games at the weekend. I can't do rapid ingress. Anytime I said I can rapid ingress, can you? And I was like, I'm pretty sure I can. They were like, I'm sure you can't. And I was like, right, okay, I'll tell you, we just won't for this game. It doesn't matter. They're always coming in the charge phase, just making the charge anyway. Like if you rapid ingress them 6, you often like put them in a place where they're like then susceptible, get charged first. But yeah, so I think 155 if I'm honest on 3, and everything stays the same on them. They don't make any changes. 155 for 3. I still think you see at least 6 in every list, if not probably 9. But I know you guys. I think 150 is also right.
So you can do that as a first step. HBL drones can probably go up because even though they are unreliable, like when they do connect and when you do give them support, they are a bit daft. You can put
120, I think.
I'd say 115 for now. Like, but I'd be alright with 120.
You know what? I've gone 5 points up on the Death Shroud. You've got 5 points down on the. We're right in the middle. Okay, 115. There we go.
The only reason I say not say 120 is because when you actually, it sounds like 20 points, but when you actually that's a 20% point cost increase. That's a lot already to stomach.
Huge.
So if we applied that to the entire range, we lose 20% of our arm, which can already feel thin sometimes. So I don't want to push it too much. I only think we need to lose like 1 or 2 units, maybe probably just 1, and like maybe a chaff unit. I'll be honest with you. I don't think Poxwalkers. I still say it's
Poxwalkers are fine.
Poxwalkers are fine, but I don't think they need the extra tax for going to 20-man.
Agreed.
I really. Don't think
it's there for good reason. To be honest, I think it stops.
We'd have to see, but I don't know.
It stops the JO play. This is a problem. When I played the 20 Poxwalker list, he tried to do it to me, so I got deployed first, and I managed to jail him with 10, and I was like, oh, hang on, if I had 20 here, this could definitely be a problem. So I can see why they've done that. It's just to stop that play, isn't it? They're basically just saying, please do not put 20 Poxwalkers 9 inches away from your opponent's
that, but the bit that annoys me is, like, I miss my Typhus and 20-man brick, but I hate paying the extra 10 points when I'm not getting to use Infiltrate with it. Do you know what I mean? It's like, I'm paying the punishment for no real benefit on it, which is a bit annoying. Now, but we'll get that's a small little detail on that one. I think a lot of people want to see our characters, and I disagree with this one massively. A lot of people want to see our Plague Marine characters go up in points because they go, oh, look how much they bring for the thing. And I'm like, yes, okay, but the problem is these Plague Marine characters already have to go in a unit that's going to cost then a Rhino as well. The unit is already pushing near 400 points. It is an incredibly powerful unit, but it should be at that point. If you keep adding points to that, like, it just gets worse and worse and worse because just the points go up. And the problem is as well, a lot of characters in the game, like 45-point characters and whatnot, do something else in addition to that. Like they have, like, maybe they can affect area, affect stuff, or something like that. Whereas these guys literally just go in a Plague Marine squad, give them a buff, they have no invuln, they have no nothing, and then, like, that's it. Now, they are good.
The only one that could go up is a Malignant Plaguecaster. You could put him on to 65, because you took him before previously when he was 65. I don't know why he went down 60. No one else, and that's only because at 65 we played him before, so we've already kind of acknowledged that that's fine. But no one else, they're all fine apart from him. He's the only one. If anything, the banner guy could just come fucking down.
The banner guy's so useless.
He's pointless, isn't he?
Very quickly, so we had a donation up here. Just going to quickly read it out. It's $5 from Daza0187. Hardy looks like the 70% Eldari win rates. Not sure everyone is freaking out because there needs to be a boogeyman in the meta. That's why, and people don't like Death Guard. Looks more like they did tweak and points adjustments, which we agree with. I think we only need points. Don Houston, $3.33, saying Cock is brutally unforgiving and can fall to pieces, which we agreed with before. Thank you. And then Chris Bailey coming in struggling. He says he's struggling the most against gun lines. I tried Flyblown versus the new Wolfstorm last night and did well, but I feel like it relies on going first. Thoughts? So yeah, I do think Flyblown gets a lot more power out of going first. When you have to scout back into cover, you just lose a lot of that initial momentum you had. It's my biggest problem with Flyblown. He's like, like the last 6 games I've played, I've gone second, and given the nerfs to the Poxwalkers not even getting it anymore, like I really don't like Flyblown after that nerf. I don't know. It doesn't sit well on me, but I think
it's a Terminator spam teams build, I think.
Yeah, I agree with Will. I think that's kind of where you go with it at that point. Now, coming back to the any recommendations for you guys? So I actually agree, Malignant Plaguecaster could probably go up 5 points because he's still got an amazing flamer. His rule was never really the reason we took him, but now he also gives sustained hits to the squad. That's very strong.
Yeah, he got better and went down.
The thing about our characters are they're 3-up save, 4 wounds, no invulns. They're they're paper thin and easy as anything to kill. There are a lot of characters, cheap characters in Space Marines that are tougher.
That's true.
So so I mean that's the offshoot for it is you attach, like Aiden's point, you create this, like in VV you create your bomb with the Plague Marines. It's hugely expensive. It's a Rhino. It's 10 Marines. It's 2 characters, right? It's more than that. It's 450, I think it is now, or something like that when you put it all together. And none of it's got an invuln. The Marines will 2-up save. It's 3-up saves, 2 wounds each. The characters have 4 wounds, 3-up save. Like, they're not difficult to kill. It's like, and you have to invest it and play it properly. So I get it, and I get where people are upset. I think also the level of upset at Death Guard is probably going to roll back as all the other stuff starts to get on the table. So I think, like you said, Aiden, it's currently we are the big bad. And people have. It's been so long since Death Guard has been rocking the top tables badly, like en masse. That everyone's like, that's why proportionately it now looks really bad because it's like this thing has come from nowhere and it's now everywhere. But Emperor's Children is going to get its representation up. Space Wolves is going to go through the roof. Thousand Suns will be back a bit.
Space Wolves will be ours.
I think they're going to be. I think they're going to be everywhere.
There's so many legacy
The new
players.
Wolf Jail, by the way, is absolutely horrendous. You can get it's something like over 100. You can get over near 100 toughness, 5+, so 5 upwards, 4 up invulnerable, 3 or 4 wound bodies in a list that move fast. How the hell do you kill it before you get jailed? Or you just get caught?
Well, this is kind of why I say I know my argument back to anyone who's throwing their toys out the pram about a Poxwalker jail or whatever is, well, guess what? There are tons of armies in the game that can jail you. Now Death Guard can do it too in 1 detachment. Deal with it.
Yeah. I mean, so I have one other unit, which I think when I say it, we'll all agree, but probably not the front of people's mind. The Mephitic Blight Hauler should not be 90 points. My God, I am so impressed with the
They do really well at that. They're really good.
I think probably should be 100 points if we're to be totally honest, and I think you probably... I'm more impressed with the Mephitic Blight Hauler than I am with the heavy bloat drone on the Blight launchers. the amount of times one just picks up something it has no right in picking up, especially when the Lord of Virulence helps it out as well.
So it hits some
So
2
she's got the
0
reroll ones. Yeah, like the Mephitic Blight Hall is just like every time they just look at something and it's like I line 2 up on like say like a 9. The first one just 1-turns it, and I'm like, oh well, the other one's just standing unneeded now. And it's like I think it's 90 points, and it just picks up like 100 to 200, like nearly 200 point, tank units out an invuln. Just like it's really good. The Lord of Virulence, what do we think there? Like everyone in our chat is saying he should be 110. If he goes to 110, I could see why. Like I wouldn't be completely like up in arms. If he went to 100, that I get that. I think that's maybe better because he is like having run 2 of him. He does like the difference when he left the army was the power level just dropped off a cliff.
I think.
So I don't know.
He's a weird one. I think he's actually not too bad. I think because you've already got to pay enhancement for like 10 plus emissions, so he's actually not 90 points like Hammerlist. He's usually a bit more. I don't actually think he's. I think he's good. But I don't think the effect to just give a unit reroll 1s or reroll all hits on blast is like that crazy. Like it's good, don't get me wrong. But again, there's other things in the game that can like do roughly similar effects or give +1 to hit, things like that, and they're not mad.
Yeah.
And the main thing is he literally does nothing for melee. He literally does nothing. He's just a 5 power fist attack lord at that point. Like that's all he is.
One thing I'd add to that is that so I'm looking at my current DLC list. If I don't put Blight Launcher, if I'm trialing swapping out heavy Blight Launcher drones for some Mephitic Blight Haulers, I don't need him in the list.
Yeah, I mean this is the thing.
He's not a character that is a default add to every single Death Guard list you build. If you aren't running blast weapons, you don't need him in there. He's not buffing everything in the game. So I don't know. I think
he does buff everything. In the sense of anything that choose 3 roll 1s. I know what you mean though. Like I'm playing devil's advocate a bit.
I think
but I mean like
LOC
if you're playing
is probably much more egregious.
LOC but he is already.
He's already.
And the Lord of Contagion's pointed correctly. I think the Death Shroud's a little bit too cheap to join him rather than him. I think that's fair. And the Lord of Virulence, maybe the Lord of Virulence is just in certain builds. Like when I played him, everyone moans about how undercosted he is, but that's because my list is leveraged.
And you're already paying lots of points for lots of tanks. Like you're not getting him for free. Like in the list, like the only reason he's in that list, yes, he's working. But your model count is down. Your points game is maybe a bit riskier because you're investing in hulls. Like there's a balancing game for it. Like
I honestly think that the strong bit with the hulls there, Dave, isn't actually like it's not necessarily the points. It's the fact that we can take so many cheap hulls. I'm not saying that they're particularly massively undercosted, but the fact that we can take 9 Demon Engine hulls for under 900 points is a little daft, but that's not a problem necessarily because of the points of the hulls. It's a problem because now the data is split up, so we can take a lot more of them. Like I've seen the list that's doing well in teams at the moment, which is like triple plate bus crawler, and then it's 3 hell brutes only because they're cheap, 3 haulers because they're cheap, 3 bloat drones, and 3 heavy balance drones. It's all just the cheapest hulls because they just get that redundancy in there. So I could see that maybe being the problem is the access to how many you can get for cheapness. So I could agree with haulers maybe needing to go up to like 100. I can see that. The LOC is the weirdest one for me because I don't know if he is undercosted or not because he brings a lot of damage. He really does. But at the same time, like, it feels so good to have an actual Chaos Smash Lord again. Like, I find him so much fun to just go and smash things with. And he's already 110 points. So he could probably put another 10 points in him, but when does he start becoming too expensive is the problem.
His biggest problems in like Champions of Contagion, maybe actually the Demon one as well. His biggest problem is where he gets access to reroll. As soon as you give that unit access to rerolls, that's when it sort of like might become a bit too cheap. But then I don't know, are we back to sort of pointing things for like their ideal detachment, or I don't know. Like he's a funny one. Like, do you know what I mean? Like as soon as you put him in Champions of Contagion and like tip 1 wound off the thing that they are like fighting, and you invest 1 or 2 CP depending if you've got a way to reduce it, that unit all of a sudden just becomes insane. But that same unit without that full reroll is, it's good, but it's not as mental basically when you can't just go fishing for the for the sustains, and even on Lance when you're in things on 4s, like as I experienced at the weekend, sometimes you do just roll a sea of 3s and belows.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Whereas if you can re-roll that, it's So I don't know. I think it's a funny one, that one. I could see why they would put him up, but I don't think I want them to put him up. Like some stuff I'm quite happy to go up in the centre, but I'd rather they leveled it, kind of like put us to where we should be, then we can kind of settle and kind of work at, making those like refining lists over the next 6 months. Whereas at the moment, any list I write, I assume if it's not this week's slate, which I assume is coming this week, it's going to be the next one. I'm going to have to just drop 100 points somewhere. And it's annoying to think that like anything I've got, I have to do that with. I'd rather can I not just have that now and like rip the band-aid off and just go, basically. But yeah, I don't think the sky is falling like people think. I think we're very much the top of A tier, not an S tier. Is my summary.
I think so. Just before we wrap up here, I think for Death Guard, I think there's going to be a lot of things that come out, and I think they're all going to be very strong. Possibly a bit of power creep coming in now. I won't deny it. But I still struggle to say it's like none of my wins were just like absolute. Now, admittedly, I'm playing a weird build, but none of my wins were just like absolute free wins. Like I mean, just like absolutely like kill everyone unless they were absolutely stupid and just walked at me. And I don't know. I feel like there's some units that could go up in points for sure. I just don't want to see I get our rules nerfed because the rules are really fun and there's lots of things to try around. I think the vehicles, and to me, it's not just an R vehicle thing. I hate how good vehicles are this edition. Everyone is just spamming the shit out of them. I'd happily see all the vehicles go up like 10-15% if you just leave all my infantry alone so I can play with infantry more. Because goddamn, I'm so sick of seeing like looking across the table and seeing 3 ballistas, 2 vindicators, 1 gladiator reaper. Like, ooh, fun. There's a fucking, and he's got like 2 squads of infantry and 1's G-man, Calgar with his blob, and then like 1 squad of blade guard. I'm like, ooh, yay! I don't know. I feel like tanks in general are just are strong, are strong on that strong scale, but like, why have we got tanks of any kind under 100 points in this game? Unless it's like a Chimera or a Rhino, why the fuck do we have like very killy vehicles like heavy battle drones 100 points less? It doesn't make sense to me. But at the same time, go look at other factions because they have some busted shit as well.
Exactly. Yeah. That's what I mean. It's not just us.
Yeah. I mean, you've instantly when you're reminded that you can have 9 demon engines for like less than 100 points. I've instantly like,
it's
9 demon engines and 3 carnivores.
You shouldn't have that many vehicles. Like, God, I miss compulsory troops choices so much. As someone who doesn't mind battle line units and stuff, I miss stuff like that. And now the problem is as well, we're losing the battle line buffs because we're leaving Pariah Nexus. So there's even less incentive for me to bring battle line units. And with actions, you know what would be great? If infantry could do actions and still do stuff. Because infantry should be able to do that. Like, Jim, you do the thing, we'll keep shooting. Whereas a tank, like, its crew has to get out, has to do the thing. That makes more sense. That would be a great buff to the infantry. But right now, like, again, we're getting actions are becoming easier. Like, recover assets no longer need you to go to the next turn. So it's going to be more incentivized to killing each other. And holds are just stupidly good. Like, I don't know. It annoys me how good vehicles are. As an infantry enjoyer, like, I just see Mortarian's hammer all at Bolton there, and it just pissed me off so much. I was just like, God damn it.
Isn't the new Bring It Down, like, really bad, though? Isn't the new Bring It Down, like, so easy to max? Like, someone told me that the Bring It Down changes. I haven't looked at the new deck.
I haven't had 100% full look. If it is, then great. But
apparently Bring It Down now is like, you might not want to bring as many vehicles.
I do just miss it a little bit.
Maybe that is one of their tactics to try and alleviate that. We'll see when the pack comes into play at the events, which it will at Leeds. So we'll go from there.
But get it back, that is. Like it's, they've done their classic. I don't know how they can't work out like how many packs they've sold and just sort of done there. But if you do want to get a pack, though, obviously we are affiliate with Element Games. We do have an affiliate link. So the link is in the description. If you anything you buy in, and if Death Guard stuff, anything else you just get, and even if it's just some paints, go through there. It doesn't cost you any more. We get a little kickback for the channel. Just helps us keep doing what we're doing. So I mean, Dave, if I wanted to, get better, I've had this tape performance. I think I did okay, but still some Scousers stole second place. I wanted to get one back over these Scousers and really nail it to the floor, get my skills leveled up. Where can I get this done?
You could head over to our friends at Vanguard Tactics. Please check the link in the description. There are links to masterclasses where actually the Death Guard masterclass was done by Aiden and myself over at Vanguard Tactics. You can also get free battle reports on their channel. There's kind of 2 or 3 a week. They even do Age of Sigmar and Old World as well. I think at times I've seen some updates on that. But yeah, great 40k content over there. A mix of free stuff as well as opportunities to sign up for one-to-one coaching with our very own Aiden. If you want some Death Guard coaching, there's a link there. If you want to rep the channel with some merchandise, please head drpstore.com. There you can find t-shirts, hoodies, caps, a whole range of stuff, and just show your love for the channel out in the gaming field. And Baron of Dice are in stock with our dice. Link in the description as well. They've managed to stay in stock for a little while here, so the challenge still is, guys. They promised they would stay in stock. Let's make them out of stock again. That would be really funny, just to kind of really rile them up. But yeah, links in the description, or head to Baron of Dice, search Disgustingly Resilient, and you can find our dice there.
Nice. Also, don't forget about the clothing range. Have you got one on, Aiden? I noticed you might have.
No, this is a Christmas present I got from Nat with a plague marine riding on a unicorn. It's not.
I did shout out the store, Will. Don't worry.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah.
And go on, Sultai Games, Aiden. You tell us about Sultai Games.
No, if you just want to get some gaming aids that Discussing Resilient podcast themes, you can check them out. But also on our side, we have a painting competition currently on for our members. It's being run by Natalie, who's off the screen. You can't see. So I think we've still got quite a few weeks left. Is it 3 weeks left? About awesome. 3 weeks left. So, and again, we're going to judge it live on stream. Again, it's not just about your painting skill. It's about just sharing something you're proud of. So don't worry if you're not the best painter. It doesn't mean you can't win. We're going to pick ones that we just think are cool and we like. It's not just going to be about golden demon standards. And also maybe a little extra reward for anyone that's got a really cool conversion. So check that out there. We have congratulations as well to the fellas that won the dice giveaway that we were doing. So that is over to, let me have a quick look at the names. Giveaways channel. Congratulations to, I've got them, to Mr. RC Green and Mr. Mike. Nice and easy. Mike.
Very simple.
I'll message you guys after the stream and get your details off. Or if you could message me as well, that would also help them get your delivery details so we can get these dice out to you. Go on, Will.
I noticed Dave was reading something there. Dave, is there anything you want to tell us about the book you're reading? I mean, what's going on here? You're that bored by it?
Yeah, I'm just you guys are just kind of a bit bored of what you guys are talking about. So, as you know, we had first of our special guests last week. We had Tycho from Play On come and join us, and as we jokingly talked about in my role as talent booker for the show, I have also we have confirmed Dan Abnett will be on the channel on June the 17th. And I got something delivered, didn't I? My cat is currently living in the box that these came in. Death Guard cat is in the box. But so for those of you who may be familiar with certain lore, this is a copy of The End and the Death Volume 1 by Dan Abnett, and there are 3 of these that have been signed.
There you go, yeah.
So it says, Let the Galaxy Burn, and signed by Dan Abnett. There are 3 of these, and these are going to be prizes that we will give away after the show, after Dan Abnett's been on the 17th. So make sure you tune in and watch that. I've got them here. They are ready to go to the winners.
For the people who don't know who Dan Abnett is, not only does he write a load of stuff for Games Workshop, he also revitalised Guardians of the Galaxy for Marvel. He's wrote DC comics.
He's a real...
It's a big deal.
He's a serious big deal. He's also he's a lovely guy. But yeah, he's a real big hitter. Please do tune in for that. If you want to, we will have some questions with Dan kind of talked about. Super chats on the evening. We will pick out a few and put those to Dan as well. But it's quite a big deal to have someone of his caliber on the channel.
It'll be a lore focused episode, that one, kind of like how we sort of like interpreted the lore, how he's kind of like brought Death Guard to life along with the 40k setting. So it won't be as rules focused just for the guys heading up on that, because I don't think Dan actually plays the game. He's just basically like wrote the lore that like makes this game.
This is purely going to be about books, Death Guard in the lore, things like that. So really, really, really excited to have him on the channel. And then of course going forward we'll be looking at kind of guests going into the next couple of months, and as we get those confirmed, we'll let you know.
Yep. And last up for me is I'm going to have a Death Shroud, how to use video coming out this week. I've just got to record some stuff for tabletop. We've decided not to make it as long as the last one. I'm not going to sit there and read the profile of it. You all have eyes. So in that video, I'm going to be showing you how to use on the tabletop tricks to get the most out of your Death Shroud Terminators with that lovely 6-inch deep strike and some of the dirty things you can do with that. So look forward to that coming up. Hopefully try and get it on the channel either tomorrow or Thursday. And again, Plague Surgery Thursday and Plague Surgery on the Sunday. So keep your eyes open.
Possibly live tomorrow or Thursday, well, if you guys are about, because we are the data slate is like to drop before the cards drop on Saturday. Yeah. So don't forget.
We'll keep it on.
I'm working tomorrow and I'm not about Thursday, but if you guys are about, just for the listeners, because we do it. If not, I might be able to change plans and I might be able to do something there as well, because it's obviously good to get the hot takes on there, if we're in there or not.
Excellent. Hey, right. Who wants to wrap it up then? Mr. Dave, do you want to do it?
Yep. Thank you everyone for tuning in as always to the show. Thanks to Will and Aiden for putting time in tonight, and well done at your events, guys. Really, really good. Thank you to everyone who joined tonight. Like, comment, subscribe if you're watching this on the catch up, so to speak, and make sure if you want to support the channel that you consider joining us. Do hit the subscribe button and do hit the bell icon as well, because that will tell you when the shows are on and when we're next broadcasting. So I think from all of us, we'll say goodnight. And as Aiden would say, stay rotten, everyone.
Take care.
I can subscribe.
I can subscribe.
The next one.
In the shadow of decay I rise, Typhus the herald beneath poison skies. With nervous rods I lay walls to waste, the reaper's scythe no life can escape. Beneath the flies, beneath the filth I spread the plague with the twisted will. From festering wounds, corruption grows in the heart of death. God, where his blood flows. I am the harbinger, the bringer of disease. In Noble's name I spread death with ease. Vessels walk with me hand in hand, rivers of filth drown the land. I am Typhus, master of decay. In the name of ruin I claim the day. The Imperium's light crumbles to dust. Wherever I tread, what consumes the just. Space hulks reek of a foul rebirth. Carriers of plague across the cursed earth. Beneath the flies, beneath the filth I spread the plague with a twisted will. From festering wounds, corruption grows in the heart of death. God, where despair flows. I am the harbinger, the bringer of disease. In Noble's name I spread death with ease. Vessels walk with me hand in hand, rivers of filth drown the land. I am Typhus, master of decay. In the name of ruin I claim the day. The Imperium's light crumbles to dust. Wherever I tread, what consumes the just. Space hulks reek of a foul rebirth. Carriers of plague across the cursed earth. Beneath the flies, beneath the filth I spread the plague with a twisted will. From festering wounds, corruption grows in the heart of death. God, where despair flows. I am the harbinger, the bringer of disease. In Noble's name I spread death with ease. Vessels walk with me hand in hand, rivers of filth drown the land. I am Typhus, master of decay. In the name of ruin I claim the day. Language howl, the gassing walls. Virulent tides, new life is born. Miracles passing, a twisted grace. I erase your heart in my cold embrace. Fear the plague fleet, fear the end. No salvation, no let to defend. I am Typhus, reaper of dread. Bow to no goal, embrace the dead.